Hey guys, how you doing? Today I want to take a look at Paths, which is a sample library by Audiomodern. Paths is a loop-based sampler instrument, which is perfect for creating soundscapes and atmospheres and for creating moods and things like that. So you get a bunch of loops. We're going to listen to them in a second, which are indeed pretty calm. It has a bit of rhythm to it, and it's, in my opinion, and that's why I'm going to use it a lot. Perfect for, yeah, like I said, music for in documentaries. What I do professionally, for example, is I do a lot of tutorial videos, instruction videos, video manuals and stuff like that, kind of like this video actually. And as you know, every now and then you need some music to play in the background. That's not the kind of music that that you're going to spend a lot of time at composing, because that's not the music that you're going to be discovered by. But it's in those moments when you have to create music like that, it's nice and very practical and easy to have a library like this, which allows you to quickly and easily create some perfect music to set a certain mood, to play in the background and things like that. Of course, there are many other ways to use this library. I do think, I didn't try it yet, but I'm convinced that also in more cinematic type of music, once your composition is there, this library is going to be perfect for little details. They're always talking about sound design and layering. This is going to come in handy for that as well. Just that little detail that you put into your composition. Also for ambient music, new age, that kind of things. There's lots of types of music where you can actually use this library. Paths costs €49, which is a correct price, I think, for the size of the library and for what you get. I'm going to show you the Kontakt version, but as you can see, Paths is also comes in different shapes for everybody actually. It's formatted for everything like ACID, Apple loops, WAV files, recs and one-shots. So whatever you prefer to use, it is there. Obviously, Paths is also tempo synced. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so let's. Before we dive into the library itself, I got to know Audiomodern via their free instruments, which you can see here. And modular ARPs was a bit less my thing, but Sync 1, 2, and 3 are actually much like Paths. It's kind of the same idea, and also those are perfect libraries for that same purpose, I would say, or for those same purposes, to say it in plural. So definitely check these out as well. They are for free, so good. And just to take a quick look here at what else they are offering, they're actually offering a lot of things. For me personally, like I said, Sync is interesting. Path is also definitely up my street. And then there's also Atom, which I don't have yet, but it's looking really interesting. So I'm going to check that out really soon. I might do a video on it if I get it. Okay, enough talking about the website and so on. Let's take a look at Paths and have a listen. So here's the interface. It looks really, really nice, and I think it's not only nice looking, but also matching with the type of sounds. So what you get in Paths, let's go over it. Which one did I select here? Yeah, number 30. So you get 30 construction kits. There's only one patch. This is the one and only patch. That's why I don't have my patch selector here at the side, however you call it. So you get one patch, and this knob here is actually a selector knob. So here you can switch. As you can see here, there's 30 kits in total, so you can switch or use this to select the kit that you want. They also mentioned the BPM here. So if I'm going to play some different kits for you, I will change the tempo here also, so that it's at its most comfortable, that I play it at the tempo that it's intended to be played in. On the side of the selection knob, you have a volume knob and a pan. And I'm going to take a look at these elements here in a second. Yeah, I'll mention what this means in a second. I'm sure you're really anxious to hear what it sounds like, so let's give you an idea. So there's your first impression. What I did was I clicked this button here, this key here. So the green key plays back the full loop. Actually, each loop is a combination of 6 separate loops, which you can see here in the mixer page. So you have 6 different loops combined, and by pressing the green key, it's going to play all of them. Here, the blue keys, they allow you to play each loop separately. So for example, this one. So you can play, you can decide yourself which ones of the 6 you want to play, or build it up if you want. You get the idea. Now, before we go further, a very important remark. When I started playing with this, I never read any manuals, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who doesn't read manuals. I just dive in and start experimenting, and you know, I'll discover what it does, you know. And I was wondering, what the hell is this red key for, you know, because when I pressed it, I heard the change in the sound, but I wasn't really sure what it was doing. So I ended up diving into the manual anyway, which is I have it here, very clear, nicely laid out manual. It's not very big, so you can read it quickly. Small effort, and that made me realize that. That made me realize what I had done wrong, or what I was supposed to do. The thing is that here you can set what you see of your keyboard, and I always have my Kontakt at +2 for some reason. I mean, when I load in an orchestral patch, a full orchestral patch, that does it. You know, the lowest note will be here indeed, and the highest one will be somewhere around here. But Audiomodern has decided to put it a bit lower. So actually, you have to go to +0. So you have to go down 2. If you are also at +2, that is +2. Yeah, +2. And then you get here the full range of red keys. And what those red keys do, as you can already imagine, is just go down. So it makes it all playable in different keys. So where am I? Yeah, there we are. So my basic key is here. Yes. That's what it does, just to give you a quick idea. So don't forget to put this on +0, otherwise you're not going to be able to really use this. Okay, that being said, I talked about all these things here. Now here you have the main page. You have your mixer settings, where you can where you have your panning and your tuning also. And then you can go here to the effects page, or what's actually easier is to go to the effects page from here. Because imagine that, let's see, where are we? No, where are, yeah, there we are. I'm actually going to, yeah, that's better. For example, I like this sound here, and I want to do something with it. It's the third track here. So if I want to do something with this one, as you can see, I'm pressing this key here to play this sound only, or this loop. If I click on the effects, I'm taken to the effects page of that particular loop. Make no mistake here, because I had it already just a little earlier, that I went to the effects page and I actually selected the wrong effect here, and I started tweaking and nothing seemed to happen. But that's because I was in the page of the wrong loop. So I'm going to edit loop number 3 here. Then I go to the page 3, and then here I can start tweaking. I'm actually going to use another, I'm going to go to another section. let's go to number 29. Let's change the tempo. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, that's a nice one. This is a good sound. So imagine I want to tweak this sound a little bit. I will go to the mixer page. I could mono this actually. That's also a way. So if I use the green key and then sorry, not mono. Solo. That's what I need. This is the mute, not mono, but mute. My apologies. So here's the solo button. Yeah, that's the one I want. So now I go to the FX page and let's take a look at what this does. So first of all, you have your filter here. Let's see with the low pass filter. Yeah. And then you have a stutter here, which is really great. If you want to do a stutter manually, it takes you a lot more time. So here, I'm going to put it a bit louder actually. I could have put it louder here as well. Yeah. So you get what the stutter does. And then you have your delay. Let's turn off the stutter for a second. Yeah. Delay. Whoop, that was too loud. Ooh, don't like the red. Turn down the volume again. No. Okay, so you know what the delay does. I'm going to turn on the stutter again, leave the delay off. Let's look at the reverb. So here you have your different types of reverb, sorry. And I had a cool one before. Where is it? Garage. And then here you decide the size of it, and then here you have your dry wet. Gotta make sure I don't go too loud here. Yeah. I really have to be careful I don't go too loud, because now the next one, so I'm going to leave this on. You know what a reverb does, you know, so this is, they have really some nice reverb options here. And then here we have the drive, which is, it wasn't really mentioned in the manual. It's type of a bit of a distortion it is. So let's listen. But it's not a very hard distortion. No, it's just perfect. It's it doesn't make it too aggressive or anything like that. So I really I'm calling it a distortion. Maybe I should not call it a distortion, but you hear what it does, and it's very nice. It's very subtle. Really like that. And then you have your EQ, of course. I'm not going to touch that now. And then the glitch. But I actually liked it like that. Okay, once you have done your settings, once you've tweaked everything, what you can do is you can save your settings by clicking this button here. And then you can save it so you can recall it later. And then if you want to do that, you are going to use this button here. If you want to reset the whole thing, you click on this one here, or actually, can you do it? With this one, it's the same thing. This one is also a reset button. The only thing it doesn't reset is this, so I'm going to have to undo the solo. And we're back. And of course, with these buttons here, you can why do I say buttons? With these keys here, you can build up the track in a way, you know. So let's see what do we have. Timing is of course a bit difficult without a metronome. You get the idea. Very, very nice sounds, very good quality. And I forgot maybe to mention the most important aspect or characteristic about this library. For me personally, this is a personal comment, but in the first place, for me, this library is very inspiring. I'm a big fan of a whole bunch of soundtracks, of course, but what this reminded me of, not only the sound, but also funny enough, the layout, is Oblivion, the soundtrack of Oblivion. Nowadays, what am I saying? Soundtracks are not all about big orchestral stuff, you know. Every movie has its own type of soundtrack, and every movie requires a different type of soundtrack. And of course, I like the orchestral stuff, but Oblivion is one of those soundtracks that made me more interested in the other types of instrumentation used for a soundtrack. You know, I like the atmosphere in that soundtrack. And Paths is up that same street a little bit. It's I think it's very inspiring for that kind of things. So obviously, if I have to make some background music for a documentary or a video tutorial type of video, I'm going to use this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time and just use something that I have here. You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time to compose something complicated. But for modern types of soundtrack, the kind that doesn't really require the orchestral thing, I'm definitely going to go here and just get inspiration, you know, just just this piano loop alone. It's and you know, you just start from there and then start building up, and you will have something completely different as an end result, but it inspires. Okay, I think I've done enough talking. I'm going to just play through a few more selections here, a few more construction kits, and then we'll leave it at that. Oh, and of course, I didn't mention these a lot, but they, of course, also work. Let's see, where am I? I'm going to have to transpose my little keyboard down again. So... not the best example where... Let's take another loop to show this. Let's see, 25. Let's go to 25. And then set this to 122. What do we have here? So let's take this sound. Sorry if my timing is off. It's because I'm missing the metronome here. But you get the idea. So this is for going up and down with your notes. Okay, let's play a few more sounds, and then I hope this video has been informative enough for you then. I I just love it. It's really very soft and still such a powerful sound, but in all its softness, if you catch my drift. Let's see, which was let's go to number 22. I should change it. Tempo is okay. What else? Let's go to... As you can tell, I took this one on purpose. You have a lot of different things. I mean, the things that I played at the beginning were all a bit in the same atmosphere, but you have different kinds of things, like this one. And of course, it's also perfect for just, if you need a certain rhythm, you don't need to use the whole combination of loops, just the percussive part. Let's go for another one here. Let's see, 15. And I forgot to change the tempo. Let's do that now. Another one of those really inspiring things, This one reminds me of what is it? Yeah, reminds me of Resident Evil. That's the one I'm thinking about. And like, let's just take these two loops, for example. You can perfectly put that in the background of even a more orchestral and even more bombastic track. Put that in the background, and it, even if it's barely audible, these little things make a difference in your soundtrack, in your composition. And yeah, I mean, look at a lot of tutorial videos. They're always talking about layering, and sound design. That's what this is, filling up your composition with little details. Okay, let's take a few more. Let's go to number 9. What's the tempo? 96. I do have to say that for some, mostly the tempo that they have here, and as an indication, is the right tempo feeling wise, but it's not always the case. I think this might be an example. No, it's okay like this. Okay, one more. So you hear that one was again very different than the other things you've heard. Let's go check 19, 118 BPM. You see, I cannot stop just trying the separate loops, and then just, yeah, like I said, it's just inspiring to me. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I've mentioned everything. Yeah, I've mentioned it all. It's a really nice library. It's not very expensive. Of course, you don't get a huge amount of content, but it's it's a nice one to have, and for me personally also the sync ones are very interesting, and I'm curious about Atom. So maybe until the next video for Audiomodern, thank you for watching, and until the next one, bye bye.